Now is the chance to use reliable energy to grow your money with the Dominion Energy Reliability Investment. Our new investment product offers competitive returns, no maintenance fees, and flexible online access to your money. Make the reliable investment in reliable energy. The Dominion Energy Reliability Investment. To find out more, go online to reliabilityinvestment.com. That's reliabilityinvestment.com.
It takes a lot of ingredients to fix or build a car, like cooking, but without the frozen dinner easy way out. eBay Motors has 122 million parts. It's always the right fitment, so you can follow any recipe to a T. Whether it's a vintage Italian coupe that's classic like Grandma's meatballs or a German luxury car that's as complicated as Oma's rouladen, to cook up something great in the garage, use the eBay Motors app or visit ebaymotors.com. Let's ride.
Hey everyone, this is the Almost World Podcast. Bringing to you mind-blowing interviews with guests from all over the world. So settle down, relax, and enjoy the show. Oh yeah, by the way, if you like the podcast, please support Elmo's World Podcast on Patreon. Your support is what helps the podcast improve more and more. Welcome to Elmo's World Podcast, and I am Elmo, and I'm with my awesome friend here, Drew. Hey man, how are you doing?
I'm well. How are you, Elmo?
And Drew and me are gonna have a conversation about pornography. And Drew, can you tell me why you chose this specific topic?
Well, for a few reasons. One of them is I feel like it's an important topic. It's a very controversial one, but it's also one. It's an issue that a lot of people in the world deal with. They struggle with, and so. But it's also one that people are afraid to talk about. So I thought, speak truth to power, shed some light on a controversial topic, and maybe help some people who are still struggling. The second reason is that I'm one of those people. So I think that telling people how I've handled it and what I'm doing to get better, to get it out of my life, will not only help me, but will help them as well.
Wow, that's really brave to say that, man. And I'm really happy that you have, you're being open about this, and that takes a lot of courage. And so, I would admit, I also. So, can you tell me, like, what is your motivation to, ending that bad habit, or we can call it a vice? What would you call it too?
I mean, any of the above: vice, sin, behavior. I mean, it pretty much checks all the above off. I believe my motivation is twofold. One is the Christian motivation. Obviously, well, not so obvious, but Christian convictions and the scriptures, the Bible, say to not fill your mind, not indulge your mind in anything that is not holy, and also to flee any sexual immorality. So whereas a lot of people will say, well, I'm not harming anyone, and I am not engaging sexually with anyone physically, the scriptures actually say otherwise. Jesus said that if you even look at someone with lust, that you've committed adultery in your heart. So I know that's a bit heavy-handed, especially nowadays, but it's something that I ascribe to. So other than that, um, I also have personal motivations to get clean. It has wreaked havoc in my life. It has taken up so much of my life, hours upon, I mean, hundreds of hours, just looking at it, and it's led me further than I want to go. It's just taking me places I never thought I'd go, both in my mind, with other people, and it's just a not healthy habit that even in small doses can be really bad for you. So that in short, that's the long and short of my answer.
I see.
There are a lot of people who say that, I just watch porn, like once a month maybe when I feel like it, but it's not really a problem for me, unless it becomes an addiction, right? Where that is that I would admit that it becomes a problem, right? Because
Right.
let's say if they're not Christian, the Christian motivation will be totally irrelevant for them.
Right. So what I would tell them is porn changes how you view the world. It changes how you view people, relationships. And so if you say have a girlfriend, you're a guy and you have a girlfriend because it has mostly in the past affected guys, it will affect your relationship. Any dose will affect your life. Just like that's similar to saying, well, I only smoke every once in a while and it has no effect on my health whatsoever. You can lie to yourself and tell me that is your motivation or that that's your excuse. But physically, it is altering your body. It's the same with porn. Porn actually warps your brain. It creates neural pathways, which are, let's say, they're the highway of the brain. And every time that you watch pornography, it alters your brain chemistry. And so, things that you used to get happy about, which is a dopamine hit, porn alters that. And you watching pornography creates pathways, and they're artificial. So that every time you watch something that is not real, by the way, you get a high. So that person today may say, I only watch porn once a month, but you'd be hard pressed to say that he is going to be consistent in his behavior. So that would be my argument for that person.
You mean to say like more of a health reason, right? Like health in the social and mental and
Right.
emotional realms, right?
Right. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, and I do admit that this would probably be the case. That once their libido expands, and because of the porn and everything that you're exposed to, you're gonna get used to it, right? And it's of course, when you do have your partner there, it will be hard for her to satisfy, have that, like sacred and I guess, and loving pleasure that should be within the marriage, right? And so
Right.
that leads to like a lot of problems.
And so, for instance, and this is all backed by science, by the way. When you look at pornography, what also happens is you develop a tolerance for the porn that you watch. So in the same way that you have a pain tolerance that, say, I, for instance, have a high tolerance for pain. So it takes a lot uh, to inflict on my body for me to say, ow, that really hurts. It registers, but I can forbear a lot of pain. The same with pornography. You may watch, you may start out watching sporadically, recreationally, even once a month. But what happens, and this is just by design, actually, the porn studios know this, is that sooner or later, that once a month is not going to satisfy. It's not going to satisfy or satiate your appetite. So this is going to be seen in the duration that you watch it, as well as the types and styles of porn that you watch. So whereas say um vanilla porn or soft core would satiate and satisfy your appetite, uh sooner or later, maybe a week or two, or even a month down the road, that no longer helps. That no longer does the trick. And so you need more hardcore things. Uh, Instead of watching it for a sitting, you used to watch it for say 10 minutes. Now it's 30 minutes. Eventually it might go to an hour or 2 hours. And that's what I'm talking about when I said earlier that it leads you further than you want to go and longer than you want to stay. This is the porn studios know this, and they use it to their benefit. So it's pretty scary stuff. And once you're hooked, it's very hard to come to get out of it.
What if someone says, I don't care, I enjoy it, and I'm single, I'm not planning on having any relationships, and I'm a loner, right? So what is it to you, and what is it to me if I enjoy this thing? And I also look at it as an art, right? I just appreciate it, and it gives me enjoyment, entertainment.
This approach is probably or this rationale is probably I would say at least among the younger age group. I'd say that 18 to 25 or even younger. This is the most common reason, popular reason. Um, and here's what I would respond with. Uh, you may not understand this, and by you, I mean the person who is making this argument, but um, whether or not you know it, porn is affecting those around you. You may call yourself a loner, and that very well may be. You may keep to yourself and not have many friends, but uh, unless you live on an island and you're, to yourself in that way, you interact with people, whether it be your family, whether it be your teachers, if you're in school, or whether it be your boss or your coworkers, or just the world in general. Um, Porn has negative effects in all of those areas, all of those relationships. And so, for instance, let's take work. So, if you are watching porn, you've made it a let's say a weekly decision, or even every other day. Um, it's in your life. It's ingrained in your life. Uh, it's going to change your mood. It's going to change your behavior. It's going to change how you think and how you view other people. You might become more fidgety. around other people, or more judgmental when people uh, try and have a constructive conversation with you. You may get caught viewing it at work. And when your boss fires you, you're going to play the victim. And so and that's just one area of your life. So again, you may be a loner. That may be your excuse, but and you may think I'm not hurting anyone. The people on the screen are just that to me. They're not real. But research, my experience, other people's experiences say otherwise. So I would just check your motivations. That's a very selfish way of thinking, in my opinion. And listen to reason. Listen to other people who have gone through the negative consequences of porn. That's what I would say.
Should we stigmatize people watching porn, right? Like, should it be not normalized?
That's an interesting question. Because the reason I say that is because let me just let me regroup. I would say stigmatize the behavior, stigmatize the porn itself, but do not ostracize the person who is watching it. Don't give them a free pass either. I think it's a fine line. They are, unless in cases of addiction, and even then, they are making a choice. They are making a foolish choice, but a choice nonetheless. And they should be held accountable. Now, whenever you bring these things up, things of this sensitive kind of nature, the natural thing to do is to just deny it and to say, well, yeah, but at least I'm not murdering someone, or you can rationalize a wasted Sunday, but the only way to have an open and honest conversation with them is to be open and honest, to give them the benefit of the doubt, to shed light on what they're doing, and to be compassionate. I think that Christians and other people as well, they like to view the world in black and white. I do that a lot in my life. It makes things easier, but it also makes it harder to have compassion for people. Yes, I don't want to say bad. It's a slippery slope, and it shouldn't be done. But pointing the finger and saying shame on you will not help the situation, and it will actually have them clam up and not want to talk at all. So having empathy for them, saying I've been there, and I know how it feels, can make a world of difference.
Say we should hold them accountable. What do you mean by that?
I think that when approaching them, not gearing up for a fight, when we are approaching them for a conversation, we should talk about the subject at hand. We shouldn't, pretend like we don't know what they're struggling with. We shouldn't beat around the bush. We should, like I said, have compassion, be kind to them, but also on the same token, have them admit if they're ready that are certain actions that they have taken that have led them to where they are today. And that is for anyone who watches pornography, addict or not. I think that speaking truth in love is you have to speak truth first. And be real and honest about what you're dealing with. If you're not, then you're not going to get anywhere. At the same time, if you don't speak it with love and compassion, then you might as well just burn them on the cross. And I know that's a euphemism, but people are difficult. People are different and respond differently to this issue, to any issue. But that's why you should tread lightly. Treat them with respect. Treat them with honor and dignity. And they can surprise you as to where they'll lead you.
It's a society, right, where we recognize that pornography causes these issues, right, especially when the individual, and also in an impact on how the individual acts in the environment, with its social environment. Should we
Right.
criminalize pornography then?
That is it's another interesting issue. One to which I don't have a clear or definitive answer. It's become so widespread and so worldwide, global. I mean, it's a pandemic. And pornography has always existed in one form or another since really the beginning of time. But nowadays, ever since the internet in 2000 and onward, it's literally at your fingertips. Anyone can watch it. And so I think not sure if that's the right question to ask. Because I don't think it can. I don't think we can do it. There are too many factors at risk. Too many factors on the table, rather. People are caught in the snares of pornography daily, and they can't get out. If you criminalize pornography,
It used to be hard to find the exact auto parts you needed, and that meant spending a lot of time at swap meets. It's a different game now when you can order exactly what you need from eBay Motors. They have 122 million parts, so you can always find the right fitment. Spend less time searching and more time building with the eBay Motors app, or visit ebaymotors.com. Let's ride.
Holidays are here, and so is fashionable fitness. Gift yourself a Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 3 5G, a phone that folds in half to literally stand on its own. Pair it with the Galaxy Watch 4 for ultimate wellness and wow factor. Check health stats, flex personal records. Over 90 activities can be tracked, like biking, swimming, golfing, and more. Invest in yourself with tech made to crush goals. Holidays open up with Galaxy. Shop it all at Samsung.com. 5G connection and availability may vary. Check with carrier. Products sold separately.
Are you also going to criminalize the people who appear in the videos, or just the pornography itself? Are you going to go after the producers? And are you going to criminalize actually accessing it? So again, I think it's an interesting question, but from a sociological standpoint, if you, quote, fix the one problem, about three others pop up, kind of like Hydra from Greek mythology. You chop off the head, and then three more pop up in its place. It could be well-intentioned, and you could have the best motivations in the world, but it doesn't mean that it's going to end in a good result. So that's my view. It's just, it's a mess. I don't know if it's ever going to get fixed. I believe that he is struggling with something that has been in his life for a long time. I will speak personally to that. I will attest personally to that. Pornography has been in my life for 17 years, since high school, freshman year of high school. And it started out vanilla, if you will, not anything to where it is now. It wasn't even on the radar. And that's how porn works. First you are you might be viewing, say, underwear ads in the newspaper or in a magazine, and then you upgrade to videos of people making love, but just kissing, and then you upgrade to another thing, and then before you know it, you're hooked. And so before, when you're in the initial stages of the addiction, which is what we're talking about now, you are so caught up with the newness factor that you're not cautious. You're not aware of your surroundings, so to speak. And as you go deeper into the addiction, as you do more things, and as your perception of reality changes, because that's what is happening, your willpower gets altered. You more or less have it taken away to some extent. And that's what the pornography producers, companies, that's what they bank on. They know how the brain works. They know all the research that is coming out is true about pornography and its harmful effects on society, on the mind, on people, and they don't care. So, but going back to the original question, no, it doesn't mean that your faith is not true. Um, I I've known people, I've heard stories, and mine is one of them, um, where I've pleaded with God to take it away, to take this addiction away, um, and it's not as clear cut as I want it to be. Um, and it's interesting, some people are able to be healed of it and move on with their life. Other people, most people, I would say, um, they have to work at it. They have to be willing to surrender their willpower, because one thing I've realized is the more that you try to manage your addiction and quit cold turkey or white knuckle it and say, I'll never look at porn again, it fights back with a vengeance and has an opposite effect. And so you almost have to have a spiritual awakening, if you will, pardon the language, but something outside of yourself has to happen in order for you to finally become disenchanted and want to do better for yourself. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't have those experiences. So,
Because I think there's a very related topic, which is about masturbation, right? Like you really can't separate pornography with masturbation. I want to ask you, Drew,
yep.
like, um, should we never masturbate?
Okay. So here's the crux. Here's the where everything pretty much lies. Um I think, you know, I guess it depends on who you ask. Um if you ask, say, you know, a pastor or a Christian who, believes in marriage and that those acts should be confined to marriage, then the answer is no. But if you ask, say, a doctor or um, other people, uh, they'll have no problem with it. Um, now, it's a natural phenomenon. Obviously, millions of people do it every day. You first, you know, explore your sexuality at a young age, even in your preteens. Um, but it um, it is connected. It can be connected to pornography, but um, but it also doesn't have to be. Um, I think where pornography comes in, pornography destroys uh, healthy sexual relationships. So, for instance, you said earlier, you brought up uh, people's relationships with each other. I think that it destroys them, and that people who view pornography, which is most men, um, some of them um, will have trouble in the bedroom. Um, they will either find that they're not able to perform, or that They have a fantasy in their head that is underwhelming when they are with their girlfriend. So I'm not sure if it's a simple yes or no answer. I'm really not. Usually when you masturbate, and you're single at least, it's always going to be to porn, or it's going to be with some fling that you had or someone. But only in the confines of marriage would I say it would be healthy. So I hope that answers your question.
You mentioned earlier for Christianity, right? Like they only, even just looking at women as already you've already committed adultery in your heart, as Jesus said, right? Like say
Right.
masturbation. You know, you most of the time you do visualize images that end up
Yes.
with other, others, right? So that's equivalent, I would say, to watching pornography, whether or not you watch, but as long as you did, there was masturbation involved, this adulterous act, by definition it is equivalent and wrong, right? So should we never masturbate in terms of this?
In my opinion, no. But again, that's a high order. That's a really tall order to expect of yourself. Now, I'm not saying, that's a license to masturbate every night and, you know, do whatever you want. I think there are consequences to any action that you take. But also going the other way and never masturbating at all, I don't think that's the answer either. So, is there an answer in between? Honestly, I'm not sure. This is one of those questions that uh, honestly people don't want to ask. Uh, they think, oh, it's natural, and all men do it. Kind of like the porn thing. All men watch porn, and those that say they don't are lying. I think there's excess and on either side, but um, it's just not as black and white as people would like it to be, myself included.
What would the I guess the method in order to leave pornography, and start realizing that it is an issue in your life and you need to stop it, how would one go about this?
So I'd recommend um uh not doing it alone. That's my first recommendation. Um that's that fighting it alone is the equivalent of white knuckling it, of saying I don't need any help. I can do this on my own. I got myself into this and I can get myself out. People don't understand how powerful pornography is. They think that it's a matter of willpower and that they can say no if they want to. And when you're in a community, when you are open and honest with other people and let them see your vulnerability, they can help you. They can see things that you are not willing or able to see. Because you're so caught up in your addiction that you don't understand. For instance, if you are at home and you're with your family and it's nighttime and you have a computer and it's after dinner and you dismiss yourself to your bedroom with a computer. If no one knows about your addiction or no one knows about your nightly habits of porn watching, then you're alone. People can't help you. But if you tell someone, "Hey, uh, I struggle with porn, um, and these are some of the things that I do," then when you're about to do them, um, they can say, "Hey, how about you stay out a little longer with us?" Or, "Hey, how about you leave the computer with us?" You can make daily phone calls or weekly phone calls. I think that you should, or you can rather, um, select people who care for your well-being, people who want the best for you. It's not hard to, it's not easy rather to be this open and honest with people. There's a fear of judgment, fear of shame, fear of guilt. But the only way that you're going to get help to beat this is to expose it to the light, so to speak, to not live in secrecy, and to be honest with people, whether that is one person or a host of people. So that's, if I could recommend one thing above all else, get a support group, get a group of friends or family members, and tell them you need help, and hopefully they'll help you.
And what would be your message to the one who's struggling out there with pornography, and still not deciding whether or not to leave it because, and what would be your message to that person?
My message to them, to anyone, would be, is pornography worth it? What I mean by that is pornography worth your friends, your family, your social life, your finances, your happiness, success, all these wonderful things that are probably in your life in one form or fashion? Is it worth having porn in your life when porn can take those things away from you? People are not aware of just how dangerous it is to let it in your life until those things are gone or in complete ruins. And so I would tell them to read up on it a little bit, not to go overboard, but there are countless thousands upon thousands of articles on this very issue. and testimonials, and they just go on and on. Be open to what those people are saying, how it can wreak havoc on your life. Admit that it's a lot darker than you may have originally thought. Going back to your example of the person who only looks at it once a month, they may not be aware that it does a lot of damage. I mean, after all, it's just once a month, but it may not stay that way. And regardless of the frequency at which you watch it, it's going to change something. So be aware, and try and stop it before it starts, if at all possible. Mm-hmm. So don't give up.
All right.
Don't give up at all. So.
Awesome, man. And Drew, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. You know, this topic is very sensitive and controversial, and of course, a lot of people actually need to hear this truth, right? To identify that pornography is a problem. You know, it shouldn't be something that is normal in one's life. You know, especially when it's becoming addictive. So Drew, and hope that, is there anything that you want to promote, any links concerning this that you want to share as well?
Yes. So there are countless websites on this, but the one that I believe does a magnificent job on this topic is called Your Brain on Porn. So I believe it's yourbrainonporn.org or .com. It's a great start to how porn changes your brain, changes your mood, changes your behavior, your thought patterns, everything. Plus, it has many, many external links to other websites as well. So it's a good start for those who are interested. And that's the only one that is on the top of my head. So.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you, Drew, for all of this, and hope I can have you on the show again.
So that's the end of it. Thanks for tuning in, guys. This is your host, Elmo Ador Jr., and thank you for listening in, and please subscribe. Please follow us on Facebook. Please follow this. Please. Thanks.
University of Maryland Global Campus has more than 20 years' experience providing affordable online education to military service members and working adults. Offering low tuition, no-cost digital resources replacing most textbooks, scholarships for those who qualify, and more. Learn more at umgc.edu/podcast.
It used to be hard to find the exact auto parts you needed, and that meant spending a lot of time at swap meets. It's a different game now when you can order exactly what you need from eBay Motors. They have 122 million parts, so you can always find the right fitment. Spend less time searching and more time building with the eBay Motors app, or visit ebaymotors.com. Let's ride.